Welcome everyone to Coin New Yen Review channel. Before we dive into today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share so more people can discover us. Enjoy the show. I caught sight of the campus beauty senior by Yoayu inspecting the dorms on my first day. Unexpectedly, I collided hidden with her as I stepped out. I chuckled, but she burst into tears. He issued a stern ultimatum presenting me with two choices. I was told to pick her up right then. She proposed that I become her boyfriend as the second option. I stood up and she playfully pinned me against the wall. Then she declared she'd be my girlfriend. I thought the campus beauty's innocence was just a playful jest. To my shock, the next day, she dragged me to get a marriage certificate. She even filled out my freshman information form. In the family section, she wrote her name. Back at the dorm, I was in a whirlwind. I hurriedly hid the marriage certificate. I feared my dorm mates couldn't handle the shock. Just then, Oldforth burst in brimming with excitement. He announced to the guys that another big event was unfolding. Senior by Yoayu was coming to check the dorms again. At that moment, the dorm quarter fell eerily silent. A stunning girl in a white skirt appeared. She strode into the boys' dormitory building. She paused slowly at the door of room 404. My scalp tingled with unease. Why was Bai Yoayu here? When she saw me, though, her icy face melted into a radiant smile. She noted that lunchtime had arrived. She asked if I'd like to eat together. I felt nervous addressing her as classmate by Yoayu, but she frowned mentioning the rain. She corrected me saying I got her title wrong. She insisted I should call her my wife. The entire boys' dormitory building seemed to freeze. Silence enveloped us in an instant. My mind buzzed with disbelief. Why did Bai Yoayu have to reveal this? I let out a stunned gasp. Hizu the eldest reacted quickest, addressing her as classmate Bai. He asked if she was now dating our third brother me. He clapped my shoulder with a grin, as if accusing me of being sly. Bai Yoayu paused to think. She earnestly urged us not to misunderstand. She clarified that we weren't just dating. Hizaya's words caught in his throat. He wondered what was really going on. Bai Yoayu extended her hand. It seemed she was signaling me to take her delicate hand in mine. I stared at her slender, tender hand. I couldn't help but swallow hard. Having been single for 20 years, I was floored. It was my first time a girl invited me to hold hands. I reached out trembling with nerves. This moment confirmed the scene for all to see. My heart raced like a bell on a $30,000 machine. Just then, as she prepared to pull me along, she turned back. She addressed our dorm mates with a statement. She clarified that by don't misunderstand she meant we weren't boyfriend and girlfriend, but husband and wife. As Bai Yoayu and I left the boys' dorm, I faintly heard the explosive chatter erupting inside the dormitory. At the school cafeteria now, I already knew Bai Yoayu was wildly popular at school, but her popularity exceeded my wildest expectations. I didn't need to guess. The Aoki Academy Forum must have already blown up. After all, Bai Yoayu was known for her impeccable reputation and had virtually no male friends. I was her first. At the cafeteria, I steeled myself and went to the counter. I fetched lunch for Bai Yoayu. We sat face. She propped her chin with one hand. Her other hand rested gazing at me. Her expression was utterly adorable, especially the smile playing on her lips. I was utterly captivated. I quickly lowered my head to focus on lunch. I felt an overwhelming pressure, sitting across from such a dazzling beauty. Bai Yoayu ate her lunch daintily. Watching a beauty eat was a delightful sight, but the surrounding stares kept me from looking up. I feared any bold move on my part would drown me in a flood of gossip. Yet, Bai Yoayu seemed unfazed by the onlooker. Noticing my silence and bowed head, she picked a piece of meat from her bowl and placed it on my plate. She asked if I had classes that afternoon. Her gesture felt so natural, like a wife casually serving her husband. The crowd around us felt like they'd been fed a heap of affection. They wondered who this unremarkable man was. How could he have the campus beauty so smitten? I hurriedly said I had classes until 2:30. She nodded and asked me to help move her luggage afterward. I looked at her puzzled. She gave a playful smile, noting we were married. Wasn't living together only natural? Or did Eileen not want to live with her? I quickly shook my head. I only worried what her dorm mates might say, but she brushed it off. If she cared about others' opinions, she wouldn't have married me. But we'd only just met. Curiosity finally pushed me to speak. I asked, addressing her as classmate by Yoayo, could I know why she wanted to marry me? She paused for a moment. At that time, I lacked any charisma. I seemed timid, even a bit fearful. Perhaps because Bai Yoayo was so stunning. Sitting together, we felt mismatched. But she suddenly laughed. Her smile seemed to stop time in the entire cafeteria. She called me silly, addressing me as husband. She wouldn't marry someone she didn't like. I asked when she started liking me. She admitted she didn't know. Should I believe her words? My heart raced wildly, especially since she'd just called me husband. She made an adorably cute expression. She said it was a secret. After returning to the dorm post-lunch, to keep others from thinking the campus beauty was crazy, I used my prepared excuse. I said you might not believe it. I was the one pursued. We'd actually known each other long ago. It was just a chance factor that brought us together. Luckily, my dorm mates weren't too sharp. I easily glossed over it, glancing at my watch. It was time for my appointment with the campus beauty. I reached the library and spotted Bai Yoayo at once. She wore a white skirt, her long fair legs drawing attention. But as I approached, she was staring at a problem. Seeing me, she playfully pouted, asking for help. To a top student like me, the question was simple, but the gazes around the library burned hot. After finishing the homework, she stretched lazily and called me husband. She asked me to help with her luggage. Her words were like taunting the crowd, especially with so many guys in the library. Yet pride inexplicably swelled in my chest. I eagerly followed Bai Yoayo, heading to the girls' dormitory. Soon she came down with her suitcase. I stiffly took it from her. A smile curled on her lips. I was struck again by her beauty. I knew the campus beauty's charm, but her cuteness toward me was unexpected. I thought, mother, your son has made it. Such an adorable girl. Was truly my wife. Was this paradise? At the rental, while unpacking her luggage, I noticed no daily necessities, so I offered to buy essentials for her. She bit her pretty finger thinking, then looked at me. She said, if there was anything essential to her, it was probably me, her husband. My face flushed hot. How could Bai Yoayo be so captivating? Seeing my shy reaction, she found it amusing. She hadn't realized I was so innocent in this era. That evening, after we both freshened up, she took a bath. Emerging from the bathroom, she saw me hugging a blanket on the sofa. She earnestly said, husband, I shouldn't sleep in the living room tonight. I instinctively asked, where should I sleep then? Her cheeks flushed as she suggested I sleep there. She patted the bed beside her. She insisted I sleep on the bed tonight. Sleeping on the sofa wasn't good for my face turned scarlet. I stammered. It was fine, I'd sleep on the sofa. It wouldn't be good for her reputation if word got out. She smiled softly. Reputation didn't matter. We were already married, she reminded me. Her sweet voice made me lie beside her automatically. But how could I sleep? Her soft, gentle breathing filled my ears. I cautiously turned my head, meeting her serene, sleeping face. Since she was asleep, I finally had the chance to gaze at her unabashedly. Under the moonlight, she was even more enchanting. With such a delicate beauty beside me, how could I possibly sleep? Since she was my wife, a kiss should be fine, right? My thoughts wandered dangerously, especially with her full inviting lips so close. But then she stirred. I quickly turned away, startled. Terrified she'd catch me staring. She only shifted her arm, changing her position. I breathed a sigh of relief. I'd been too forward, thinking of taking advantage while she slept. Kissing should happen when we're both awake. As my mind raced with thoughts, something heavy pressed on my leg. My body stiffened. In the moonlight, I saw her jade-like leg resting on me. It seemed my wife wasn't a tidy sleeper, but with her leg on me, how could I rest? That night, I barely knew how I managed to fall asleep. When I woke, I was nearly late. I hurriedly dressed and rushed for the door, but Bai Yoayo blocked me with a sandwich. If I was in a rush, I could take breakfast with me. My face flushed as I took the sandwich. I mumbled thanks, calling her yo ayu, and left. She had no morning classes. Standing in the rental's living room, her beautiful face bloomed with a smile. Had I always been so neat? She found it adorable. Since her husband was out, she'd let the little wife tidy the house. Muttering to herself, she sent me a text asking if I'd come home for lunch. In class, one was restless, seeing my phone light up. I grabbed it eagerly. Her text warmed my heart, and I agreed. Meanwhile, she was in the kitchen when a knock came at the door. She thought I was back early. Opening the door, she saw a middle-aged man instead. I asked how they found this place. The man calmly said, "For Miss, by tracking her wasn't hard." She pursed her lips. She told him to inform the family she wouldn't return this semester. I'd found the person I was looking for. She asked Uncle Ming to keep her secret. Uncle Ming nodded with relief. Had known since she was young that she was decisive. Now she'd found someone to rely on. That was a good thing. She caught the meaning in his words. She nodded happily. Uncle Ming had watched her grow up. He was the only one in the Bai family who knew her secret. If even he didn't approve, she'd struggle against family pressure alone. He was curious about what kind of man I was. Uncle Ming bowed slightly, noting it seemed she was already living with her husband. She nodded without hesitation. She'd introduce me later, but now wasn't the time. After seeing the butler off, she finally relaxed. Past noon, I finished class, exhausted from a sleepless night. I was starving. My friend Lu Da, also hungry, headed to the cafeteria. I shook my head, saying I wasn't going there today. My roommates looked at me puzzled. I scratched my nose, embarrassed. I explained that Bai Yoayu was cooking at home, so I had to eat there. Lu Da and the others felt like they'd swallowed a heap of affection. They grumbled and left. Outside the rental, I could already smell the aroma of food. Opening the door, I saw her in an apron looking at me. She greeted me, saying her husband was back. She urged me to wash up and eat. As students, the words felt oddly formal. On the table were 2 dishes and a soup. At that moment, I truly felt the warmth of home, because someone was waiting for me. It was miraculous. We'd only just met, yet talking with her, she matched my rhythm perfectly. Over the meal, the last of my reservations melted away. She understood me so well, as if we'd known each other forever. I asked if we'd met before calling her Yoayu. She paused, her cheeks pink. She shyly said not to call her that. It embarrassed her. Her bashful look sent my heart racing. I'd long known the campus beauty's charm was potent, but this scene nearly overwhelmed me. The air grew tender and shy. We both fell silent, quietly finishing lunch. I stood to clear the dishes. She sat in the living room, watching me bustle in the kitchen. She couldn't help but smile. She knew I didn't yet feel that deep emotion for her, though we were officially married, with a marriage certificate. In truth, she'd pressured me into it. Lost in thought, she gazed at me absent-mindedly. I felt her intense stare. Oddly, I thought, such a look should be mine, not hers. I asked curiously what she was looking at. She snapped back, blushing. She softly said she was looking at me. The campus beauty's aura was strong. Her shy demeanor was rare. My heart skipped half a beat. I nearly teared up from the intensity. She was pleased with my smitten expression. Men, she thought, are full of starry dreams. She didn't believe she was deliberately luring me in. Of course, slow simmering would eventually cook the frog. I snapped out of it, awkwardly scratching my head. I said I needed to get to work. She nodded, wishing me a safe trip. She called me husband, saying I worked hard. The bookstore wasn't too busy. I worked while tinkering with side projects for extra cash. At 9:30 p.m. as I was leaving, manager Mai stopped me, calling me Zilin. She asked if I'd saved some money over the years. She proposed I take over the bookstore. Did I have any thoughts on it? I was stunned. The shop always did well. I asked if she wasn't going to run it anymore. Mai nodded, citing too many commitments. She couldn't manage it anymore. If I wanted it, she'd sell it to me at a discount. I hesitated, saying I was interested, but my funds might fall short. Seeing my clear gaze, she thought for a moment and proposed. I could become manager with a raise. But I'd need to focus more on the shop. Was that okay? I was 10. I thought I'd lose this job, but it turned around unexpectedly. I thanked her warmly. I'd been worrying how to provide better for my wife. This was an unexpected breakthrough. My in a good mood told me to head home. I nodded, thinking of home, where a lovely campus beauty awaited. I needed to get back soon. Back home, Bayo was still awake. Shed beaved, her wet hair draped casually behind her. Her bare face glowed with a post-bath flush. I announced my return. She gently took the small box from my hands. She asked if I wanted a late-night snack. I was surprised Shed made one. She smiled, saying yes. She wanted to spoil my appetite, so I'd only eat her cooking. She gazed at me tenderly, eating her handmade food. She looked utterly adorable. I asked if she wasn't eating, looking at her and touched chopsticks. I quickly inquired. She said it was fine. It was made for me, her husband. She propped her chin in a breezy long dress, her fair legs playfully swinging. She was eye-catching. Compared to my restraint, she was far more carefree, opally studying me. Images flashed through her mind. She felt a sudden shyness. She watched me expectantly as I brought food to my mouth. Seeing my satisfied expression, she asked if it was good. I nodded, praising her amazing skills. With girls, you must offer plenty of compliments, especially since her cooking was genuinely excellent. She smiled, saying it was enough if I liked it. I was struck again by her charm. A girl like Bayo was captivating even in the smallest gestures. Her every move was enchanting. I felt my heart flutter. Such a perfect girl was truly my wife. I couldn't believe my luck. Her presence was overwhelming. I was completely smitten. Her gentle demeanor made my heart race. I was lost in her charm. She continued to watch me, her eyes soft and warm. I felt the weight of her gaze. It was almost too much. She smiled at my reaction, knowing the effect she had. Her confidence was magnetic. I was utterly enchanted. She leaned closer, her voice soft and teasing. She asked if I was happy. I could only nod. Her laughter filled the room. Every moment with her felt like a dream. After dinner, I took the initiative to clear the dishes. Bayo finished washing up and slipped into the bedroom. I followed a step behind. Naturally, we still slept under separate blankets. She wished me goodnight, calling me husband. After saying this, she switched off the light. The entire bedroom plunged into a quiet darkness. But the problem was I still couldn't sleep. The scent of her body wash mingled with her natural fragrance kept drifting into my nose. Under the moonlight, her skin glowed like polished jade, as if it could emit its own light. But I quickly realized sneaking glances like this wasn't quite right. So I averted my gaze, only to Kat, her eyes shimmering with affection fixed on me. They held longing and love. Her gaze was so breathtakingly beautiful it shook me. I apologized for staring, peeking like that was wrong. I hurriedly expressed my regret, but Bayo, resting her head on her arm, watched me with a playful smile. She told me her husband not to apologize. Her voice was soft and sweet, like a gentle spring breeze brushing my ear, caressing my senses. If I liked looking at her Yoayo, she was happy about it. After saying this, her own face flushed with color. I, an emotional novice, couldn't handle such teasing. Reason told me a vast gap still existed between us. Yet she seemed to sense my thoughts. She softly said she knew I had many doubts, but if I felt it necessary, we could fall in love all over again. I was a bit confused. What did she mean by falling in love again? Loving after marriage wasn't a bad idea. Her words were bold. She felt her cheeks burning no matter how many times. Facing this guy, she couldn't help but feel her heart race. She offered me a chance to pursue her. She whispered softly. I swallowed hard. Could I really chase her? I felt that if she wasn't the one with issues, then I must be dreaming. Wait, this dream felt too real. How could a girl's hand be so soft? I suddenly realized her slender fair hand slipped through the blanket, firmly grasping mine. This was no dream, of course. I could hold her hand, Yai's hand, or stroll through the school together whenever I desired. And if it was something else, she was willing to. I couldn't believe my ears. Instinctively, I squeezed her hand. Books say pain brings clarity. Yet, it only made her pull back with a wince. She asked me to be gentler husband. I'd heard her yo-ayo. Still, she slipped her hand back into mine. She reminded herself, slow and steady wins the race. She asked if I had classes tomorrow. If I had time, could I go shopping with her at the mall? She wanted to buy some new undergarments. My wife had spoken. Even if I had classes, I'd pretend I didn't. This night was destined to be sleepless. The forum buzzed with talk about the campus beauty. Her best friend came knocking to inquire about the situation, but seeing her blissful expression, Tang Fang felt a touch of helplessness. Who was this lucky guy? He must be wealthy. Tang Fang was green with envy. Did a monthly salary of 5,000 count as wealthy? She smiled sweetly. Glancing at her phone, she saw my transfer of 3,000 yuan, a total of 3,000 yuan. I noted she'd need to buy groceries and such. This was for our shared household expenses. I'd already covered the rent. If it wasn't enough, she should let me know. Tang Fang was shocked at 5,000. She asked if that covered her skincare costs. She earnestly said more money had its ways, less had its own. Marry a chicken, follow the chicken. Marry a dog, follow the dog. She'd manage with whatever I gave. Who was this guy to make her yo-ayo so devoted? Was it wise to dive so deep into love? Meanwhile, she clutched her phone, her face glowing with sweetness. She said we weren't just dating. Tang Fang was stunned, not dating, yet living together. She seriously clarified we were married. He wasn't her boyfriend, but her husband. The campus beauty was utterly smitten, and deeply so. I finished class at 1,140. A crowd waited at the cafeteria entrance. I stood in line at the food counter, head down checking my phone. Suddenly someone tapped my shoulder. I looked up. There she stood radiant before me, her hands clasped behind her back. She told me not to cue all cute. She'd already gotten lunch for me, her husband. Instantly, I sensed a murderous aura in the cafeteria. Eyes turned toward me. I felt this wasn't a place to linger. I followed her to a table. 3 trays were set out, with a girl I didn't know. She ignored the surrounding stares. Leading me to the seat, she introduced me to Zi Ying. This was her husband, Lin Yu. Tang Fang's eyes lit up at the sight of me. I was like a gentle, timid brother, just a poor sophomore, about to be swept away by her. I had no idea. In Tang Fang's Fujoshi mind, she was imagining some scandalous scene, picturing Bai Yo-ayo as the guy. 2 girls and a guy eating together felt a bit odd, but Sun Yitae's arrival dispelled the awkwardness. He found us there. Yitae plopped down beside me with his tray, all carefree. He completely ignored Tang Fang. Addressing her as classmate Bai Yo-ayo, he asked if our third brother had bullied her. If I dared, they'd deal with me. We'd promised to support each other at the start. Had I betrayed them so soon? She smiled, saying her husband treated her well, had never bullied her. Right husband, her words made me feel a shiver. Her statement had stirred up a wave of envy, especially with so many people in the cafeteria. Ailey followed her lead, saying they were overthinking. She was so adorable. How could I bear to bully her? Her big eyes curved into charming crescents. She picked a piece of meat from her plate and brought it to my lips. She teased that I always made her shy, so she'd stuff my mouth. I was thrilled but a bit scared. I warned her classmate Bai Yo-ayo, if she kept showing off our affection, her husband might not leave school alive today. After no afternoon classes, with time to spare before our plans, I stopped by the bookstore to check things out. As I entered, a junior rushed in. She congratulated me, calling me Senior Zi Lin. She was a freshman at Aoki Zhangmiao, also working part-time at the store. We called her Little Strawberry because her WeChat name was Strawberry, a bit sweet. Over time, she became Little Strawberry. She was a bit airheaded, often reacting a beat slow, but she was adored by a certain group of nerdy male customers. Thanks to Zhang Miao, the store was busier today. We worked until 9:30 p.m. to close. I finished tidying the counter, ready to leave, when a graceful figure walked in. She wore a creamy white skirt and a pale green dress top, radiating youthful energy. She walked straight to the counter. My face flushed slightly, though I'd accepted being her husband. Seeing her still made my heart race. I told a customer we were closing. Zhang Miao yawned as she approached. I waved it off, saying it was fine. I could stay a bit longer. I told Little Strawberry to head back to school. Zhang Miao paused, noticing our exchanged glances. Something sour stirred in her. She asked if this was my acquaintance. I didn't know how to explain my relationship with Bai Yuayu. Saying the campus beauty was my wife would probably get me called crazy. She spoke up perfectly, saying we were close. Very close. I asked what she'd like to drink Yuayu. She smiled, eyeing my server outfit. She was here to wait for me. If she wanted a drink, I could make one at home. Zhang Miao froze, then looked at her like an enemy. Was this my relative? They didn't look alike at all, except both were fair and had long legs. This woman didn't seem trustworthy. I shouldn't be fooled, she thought. Little Strawberry screamed inwardly, but her face showed nothing. I finished cleaning the counter. I said we should go. We'd head home after I changed. I locked the shop door. She asked if I'd forgotten my promise. Zhang Miao pricked up her ears, still unsure who this girl was. But in any case, tricking the innocent senior Zilin was absolutely not allowed. I realized we were going shopping for that. I couldn't bring myself to say undergarments or panties outright. It was too embarrassing. But my hesitation sounded suspicious to Zhang Miao. What exactly was that? Was it what she thought? She nodded with a smile, confirming I'd promised to go with her. My face reddened. Was I really going to shop for her undergarments? Panties! Though it's normal for couples to shop for such things. The problem was, it was my first time in such a store. Seeing my expression, Zhang Miao wasn't having it. She urged me to stay at school instead. The streets weren't safe lately. It was over. Senior Zilin was about to be claimed. Who was this girl? I weakly said. We were just buying clothes. It shouldn't be a big deal, right? Little Strawberry's face flushed. She awkwardly said it was late. She'd head back to school. I was utterly confused. But Bai Yuayu linked arms with me, laughing. She urged me her husband to buy her undergarments. A men's lingerie store was daunting for a guy alone, but shopping with a girlfriend was a different matter entirely. As I felt the female customers' stares, labeling me a creep, she took my arm, easing their judgmental gazes. A guy willing to shop for lingerie with his girlfriend was a good man. I broke out in a cold sweat. I suspected she did it on purpose. Why didn't she hold my arm from the start? She let out a playful hum, pulling me into the store. Honestly, a guy shopping in a lingerie store, was that really okay? My emotions were a tangled mess. I could tell she was genuinely focused on choosing clothes. Speaking of which, I couldn't help but glance toward her short skirt. Maybe girls are sensitive to such gazes. She felt a tingle and turned to look at me, but I diverted my eyes to the racks, pretending to be curious. It shouldn't be a big deal, right? Seeing I wasn't looking at her, she turned back to her selection. Yet, that feeling of being watched returned. She turned again. My gaze wasn't on her, but the thing was, I was the only man in the store. She glanced at my seemingly normal face and resumed picking clothes. But the moment she looked down, she caught me again. My guilty eyes met hers. It was definitely this rascal. Her eyes turned dangerously sharp. She asked if it looked good, husband. My mind raced. I coughed awkwardly. I said she looked good in anything, Yuayu. She huffed, satisfied, saying I passed. She asked what I thought of a piece. Her choice wasn't bold. A white lace-trimmed undergarment looked quite standard. What could I say? I could only nod and agree. I wouldn't see it anyway. She changed into pajamas every night. I had no chance to glimpse anything. She picked a few items, all fairly modest undergarments. Not the skimpy kind I'd imagined. Mostly cute cartoon patterns. But with her figure, even cute styles were striking. I naturally paid at the counter. She happily took my hand, noticing my palms were sweaty. That pretty much confirmed my sneaky glances, didn't it? She found it amusing. leading me out of the store. I followed behind, noticing her earlobes were red. She wasn't as bold as I thought. My face flushed as I mumbled, if I wanted to see Yoayo, would she wear them for me? She turned puzzled, asking what I'd said. My face burned. I felt like a boiled shrimp. I repeated if I wanted to see. Could she wear them for me, Yoayo? The cute ones we bought tonight. Her face flushed visibly. She called me out. How could I make such a shameless request so boldly? So, I'd paid with this in mind. Though shy, she felt a touch of pride. No girl wouldn't feel proud at such a request from her boyfriend or husband. Seeing her silence, I felt like a terrible sinner. I quickly apologized. I was just joking. She shouldn't take it to heart. She lowered her head, her face burning too. This bad guy, always doing and saying things that made her crazy shy. If I wanted to see, she'd wear them for me, her husband. After saying this, she felt steam rising from her face. Her voice was so soft, you'd miss it if you weren't listening. But my hearing was sharp. Her shy, breathy words easily reached my ears. I couldn't believe it. Was she really that obedient? We both blushed furiously and quickly changed the subject. She shyly suggested we get milk tea. It had been a while since she had some. In truth, her family forbade such sugary junk drinks. She'd long cared for her body, her clothes and style, every inch of her skin cherished, waiting for the day her one appeared. Likewise, she looked forward to showing her best self to him. Yet meeting him, she found herself still loving to act coy, snuggling into his arms, sharing a drink with him, no matter what it was. Our conversation slipped carelessly onto some delicate topics. So, I quickly focused on the milk tea. We bought a lemon black tea, her choice as always. But the thing was, lemon black tea was my favorite. I didn't know how. She knew so many of my habits, as if she'd known me forever. With some unspoken doubts, I took a sip of the lemon tea, somehow feeling it tasted better than usual. I looked down at the cup puzzled. She asked what was wrong. I casually said, it seems sweeter than before. Her face flushed again, her eyes brimming with shyness and affection. My heart jolted. Wait, this was the cup she'd sipped from. I hadn't ordered one. She'd gotten it and taken a sip. Naturally, she'd used the straw first. Wasn't this an indirect kiss? I smacked my lips. Her face grew redder. She glanced at me awkwardly. I'd been caught as a pervert by the campus beauty. I said it felt sweeter than usual. The words slipped out, and I wanted to slap myself. That sounded so sleazy. But she whispered in my ear, husband. Did I think her saliva was sweet? I laughed awkwardly, dropping the topic. She pouted adorably, not minding my evasion. She took my hand, leading us back to the rental. She washed up and got into bed first. We still used separate blankets. Tonight she didn't sleep. Her face flushed. She lay on her side, arm under her head, her bright eyes fixed on me. Her gaze was intense, full of warmth. I felt my heart skip. She was so captivating. I couldn't look away. Her presence was overwhelming. I was completely enchanted. She smiled soft, knowing her effect on me. Her confidence was magnetic. I was lost in her. She leaned closer, her voice a gentle tease. She asked if I was happy. I could only nod. Her laughter filled the room. Every moment with her felt like a dream. I was utterly smitten. Her gentle demeanor made my heart race. I was lost in her charm. She continued to watch me, her eyes soft and warm. I felt the weight of her gaze. She whispered that she couldn't sleep, calling me husband. The night was so quiet. It felt like I could hear my own heartbeat. I broached a topic to break the silence. I asked if her family knew about our marriage, Yoayo. She was silent for a long moment before saying she had no family. She only had me, her husband. The school forum had long speculated. Her family background seemed well off. Yet I couldn't shake the feeling. She was hiding something from me. Why was she so familiar with me? Well, I knew nothing about her. She gently lifted my blanket again, slipping her small hand inside, noting how warm I was. She understood now, husband. I sensed she didn't want to discuss this topic, though I still didn't know what she saw in me. I could feel her sincerity toward me. I gently held her hand, turning to face her, our eyes locking in the moonlight. Her gaze was clear as snow, filled with affection as she looked at me. My breath caught. For reasons I couldn't fathom, my mind suddenly flooded with images, all of them involving her. I knew these were my own inner thoughts. After all, the gap between us was vast. Her sweet voice broke the silence, asking what I was thinking. I was quiet for a long time, before softly admitting I was imagining our future. She took my hand, placing it against her soft cheek. It was warm and tender. She said there was no need to imagine. She was right by my side, Yoayu. No matter what happened, she wanted to be with me until the end. Her words made my heart race wildly. Her face flushed with warmth as I touched her. She could feel it too. She asked if I could close my eyes, husband. Her voice trembled. I obediently shut my eyes. The next moment, a warm, soft pair of lips gently pressed against mine. That night, I barely knew how I fell asleep. Perhaps her lips held some magic. Even in class the next day, I kept grinning foolishly. Baite clapped my shoulder. He remarked I'd been smiling all morning. Had something joyful happened? I quickly reined in my grin. I asked if there was something up. He said nothing, just that my smile was kind of gross. I was reeking of lovesickness. Truly disgusting. I shot back at him, calling him the gross one, a wannabe playboy, daring to talk to his father like that. I asked why Jongju hadn't come looking for him lately. Baite's expression stiffened, saying she was busy. I hadn't seen her in a while either. It was clear he wasn't being honest. I teased him for always acting like a flirt. Did he actually believe his own act? I said Jongju seemed nice. From freshman year till now, she'd been chasing him for so long. Baite cut me off. He turned it back on me, mentioning Zhang Miao the junior. I hadn't even started dating and already got dumped. Did I not know? Zhang Miao had probably liked me for a while. Falling for someone as clueless as me was tragic. I guiltily told him not to talk nonsense. I only saw her as a little sister. And little Strawberry probably just saw me as a regular senior or brother. It wasn't as dramatic as he thought. Baite patted my shoulder, glancing at the door. He told me to see for myself. Following his gaze, I saw Zhang Miao standing at the classroom door. She noticed I'd seen her. Her face flushed. She quickly looked away, only sneaking glances at my expression. I was utterly confused. I stood from my seat and walked to the door. I asked if she needed something, little Strawberry. Her face reddened. She stammered that it was nothing, addressing me as Senior Zilin. I scratched my head. I told her to just say whatever was on her mind. She quietly asked, was I dating Senior by Yoao? I touched my nose. I said sort of, and her face fell, but she quickly composed herself, congratulating me. Before saying she had to get to class, she left without looking back. I was baffled. Turning around, I saw Baite looking at me with disdain, calling me a total player. After Zhang Miao returned to her class, she slumped at her desk silent. Baite was right. She'd been too timid. She'd always liked Senior Zilin, yet never confessed, thinking she'd have a chance if she waited. Senior Bei's appearance was too sudden. She hadn't anticipated it at all. After browsing the school forum all night, she knew by Yae's unmatched popularity at Aoki Academy, if it was really her, no guy could resist her charm. Her friend's voice broke her thoughts, asking what was wrong, little Strawberry. Zhang Miao looked up. It was her best friend Lisi. She said it was nothing, but Lisi eyed her suspiciously. She urged little Strawberry to tell her if someone bullied her, she'd deal with them. Zhang Miao knew Lisi's bold personality. If she knew about this, she might actually confront Senior Zilin. She insisted it was nothing, just a stomachache earlier. It was much better now. Lisi's eyes lit up at the mention of a stomachache, offering to rub it for her. Meanwhile, Bayo Ayu finished her morning class, rubbing her throbbing temples. Her friend Zhao Yao leaned in, teasing. Had she stayed at that guy's place last night? She nodded. She'd be staying at his place lately. Zhao Yao exclaimed. What was with her gossipy expression? Zhao Yao playfully lamented. Thinking of her beloved, adorable Yo Ayu being ruined by some guy made her heart ache. Bai Yo pinched Zhao Yao's face, coolly scoffing. She was overthinking. Zilin and I were completely innocent, nothing happened, though she silently added except for the kiss. Zhao Yao was stunned. So pure. No way a beauty like her delivering herself. And he resisted. Her fingers on Zhao Yao's face started to squeeze. Zhao Yao yelped in pain, begging for mercy. Afternoon class. I left the classroom heading for the cafeteria. As I reached the field, a figure rushed into my arms calling me brother, saying she missed me. I quickly steadied her. This was the field after all. With everyone out of class, the scene drew countless eyes. It was my childhood friend Lin Din. We both came from the same orphanage, always treating each other as siblings. The only difference was, she'd been adopted in middle school, living a stable life since. Why was she still acting like a kid? I warned her. Her antics got me teased for 3 years in high school. They called me a lolicon. I was a normal guy. She stuck out her tongue saying I got out early today. As I started to respond, a pleasant voice called from behind addressing me as Zilin, inviting me to lunch. It was Bai Yo. Lin denied her warily, asking who this girl was. Before I could answer, Bai Yo spoke first, addressing Lin Din. She introduced herself as my wife, saying Lin Din could call her sister Yo. The word wife shattered Lin Shin's world. She clung to me, glaring at Bai Yo, calling her a bad woman, claiming she was my wife, urging me to deny it. I scratched the back of my head, awkwardly admitting Yo was right. I was indeed married to her. Lin Din froze, stunned by the word married. Her Zilin brother was married. Someone else's husband. She buried her face in my chest, calling me brother, asking why I didn't understand. She was worried about me. Bai Yo, as if expecting this, reassured her, telling Lin Din not to worry. She'd take care of both me and her. Lin Din snapped that she didn't need her care, nor did her brother. Her Zilin brother only needed her. She rubbed her head against me, like a cat marking its territory. I broke out in a cold sweat, addressing her as Zidin, confirming I'd gotten the marriage certificate with Yo. We were officially husband and wife. Lin Din slumped to the ground, defeated. In just a few days, her Zilin brother had been snatched. Deeply so. Looking like a beaten puppy, she was pitiful. I felt a pang of guilt. We'd grown up together after all. Bai Yo smiled, draping an arm over Lin Shin's shoulder, whispering something only she could hear. She asked if Zidin hadn't eaten yet, inviting her to join us for lunch, adding that if she wanted to stay by my side, she'd better listen to her. Though Bai Yo was beautiful, her voice took on a chilling edge. It was indeed a bit intimidating. Lin Din was visibly shaken by her. The campus beauty's aura was formidable. I didn't notice my little sister trembling under her threat. Walking ahead on my own, at the school cafeteria, Bai Yo's appearance drew plenty of attention as always. But I was the real spectacle, because now I had two stunning girls, one on each side. Bai Yo was Aoka's campus beauty, and Lin Din was once dubbed the school's top junior. Now to campus beauty-level girls flanked me on either side, leaving no room for other single guys. I felt helpless. Lin Din and Bai Yo were at odds, though Bai Yo had the upper hand, legally protected after all. When they sat together, a war erupted instantly. Lin Din demanded to know when she married my brother. Bai Yo replied it was a few days ago, suggesting she ask me. I'd know better. Lin Din accused her of thinking I was easy to trick. Bai Yo smiled calmly, admitting I was very pure, easily won over by her. I sat nearby dumbfounded. Lin Shin's face flushed with anger, looking at me pleadingly, calling me brother. I admitted it was a headache. Was this a battlefield already? I could only go queue for food, leaving Lin Din and Bai Yo at the table. After I left, Bai Yo smiled at Zidin, noting she was just my little sister, not my girlfriend. Right? Lin Din glared, fuming, accusing her of being sneaky. A campus beauty doing such things. Bai Yo shrugged, saying she could think what she wanted. But if she wanted to stay by my side, she had to listen to her. She was my legal wife, while Lin Din was just an invisible childhood friend. Who would I side with? Lyndon was nearly in tears from frustration. In just a week, a fierce rival had stolen her home and succeeded. Her heart ached with bitterness. She demanded to know why Bayoayu liked my brother. He wasn't handsome, had no money, and was a total nerd, with so many admirers at school. Why target him? Bayoayu smiled, saying she just liked him. Love didn't need reasons. Lyndon wasn't having it questioning her love. They'd only met this semester. How could she claim to love him without knowing him? Bayoayu calmly raised a finger, shaking it, correcting her. She knew me well, even better than I knew myself. It was because she understood me that she married me. She, Bayoayu, wouldn't marry someone she didn't love. Lyndon fumed, declaring she'd never accept her as a sister-in-law. Bayoayu said it didn't matter as long as I accepted her as my wife. Lyndon insisted I wouldn't be swayed so easily, though she lacked confidence. As she wallowed in frustration, I returned with 3 lunch trays, telling them to eat first. Bayoayu glanced at Lin Shin's expression, smiling and asking if I wanted soup, husband, offering to get it for me. I didn't catch the underlying tension, thanking her, calling her Yoayu. After she left, Lyndon sulked, asking when I got married. I said about a week or 2 ago. Glancing at her figure in the crowd, feeling a touch of unease, Lyndon saw my longing expression, feeling like she'd eaten a mouthful of lemons, declaring she'd never accept her as a sister-in-law. I asked why, saying Yoayu was great. Why couldn't she accept her? Lyndon was speechless, calling me a clueless brother. Was I really that dense? She buried her face in her lunch, sulking. Though it was made by her Zealand brother, usually delicious, it now tasted sour. She argued that to be my wife, she should at least take care of me. Cooking, cleaning, housework. With my busy work, could Bayoayu ease my burdens? In her mind, Bayoayu, a pampered beauty, clearly never touched chores. Marriage was one thing, but daily life brought endless conflicts. Once their issues flared up, hey, her Zealand brother would be hers again. My next words stunned her. I said Yaya's cooking was actually great. She kept the house tidy too. What kind of spell had this woman cast on me to make me defend her so quickly? Lyndon kept her bitterness inside. Just then Bayoayu returned with soup, smiling as she set it before me, urging me to drink, husband. I looked at her. Was she being extra sweet today? Perhaps because of last night's kiss. Lyndon felt utterly defeated, like she'd been force-fed affection. I took the soup bowl, a bit overwhelmed, placing it on the table. Bayoayu thoughtfully got a bowl for Lyndon too. Her main wife aura was undeniable. Lyndon stopped clashing with her. Bayoayu also toned down her main wife stance, just smiling by my side as we ate, occasionally adding a piece of meat to my plate. Our closeness made Lyndon feel time dragged on endlessly. Freshman classes ran later than sophomore ones. Lyndon vanished after lunch. I wanted to explain, but decided it wasn't necessary. Our relationship was just childhood friends after all. Bayoayu watched her leave, lost in thought. It seemed some things were starting to flutter like butterfly wings, not following her expected path. That time was likely approaching. I got out of class earlier than her, so I headed straight to the bookstore that afternoon. Zhang Miao arrived later than usual. Her eyes seemed to avoid mine whenever she saw me. I pretended not to notice. I couldn't deepen her misunderstanding. As the bookstore's darling, little strawberry Zhang Miao was wildly popular, especially today. She'd gone all out, wearing white stockings, her youthful charm practically spilling over. Unsurprisingly, a crowd of nerds followed, pretending to browse books. Time flew to 9 p.m. Almost closing time. Zhang Miao unusually stayed until the end, handling inventory and accounts behind the counter. Finishing the stock and books took until nearly 10. She cleaned the last table. I smiled, bringing her a strawberry pudding, placing it before her. I thanked her for her hard work. Strawberry. This was her reward. As expected, she didn't grasp what hard work meant, looking at me with a puzzled expression. So I shamelessly flashed a sly merchant's grin, asking how she thought I treated her. Strawberry. Her face flushed, as if realizing something. She looked at me shyly, Her careful outfit today had worked. Senior Zlin finally saw her charm. I continued offering to add more shifts. How about that poor little strawberry? It was like I dumped a bucket of water on her. Her shyness and feelings evaporated in an instant. She said she saw me as the best senior, yet I was thinking of exploiting her. She'd never agree. Absolutely not. Addressing me as Senior Zlin, she said if I worked extra, she could too. Starting tomorrow, I'd take Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday night shifts. Should negotiate my salary with Boss Mai. How did that sound? Senior Zlin was truly clueless. She blamed Lee Si for suggesting dressing up like this, with a youthful vibe, would make me fall for her. Fall for her hardly. I was just thinking of extra shifts. Clearly, she shouldn't have trusted Lee Si's simplistic tactics. This wasn't just giving herself away. It was outright handing herself over. Zhang Miao was too exasperated to complain, weakly tidying up to leave. As she opened the door, she saw a girl with long straight white hair at the entrance. I froze, caught off guard. It was Bai Yo standing there, her presence unexpected. She smiled softly, her eyes on me. I felt my heart skip. What was she doing here? Zhang Miao's eyes widened. She stepped back, wary. Bai Yo walked in, her calm demeanor unshaken. She greeted me husband, saying she came to pick me up. Zhang Miao's jaw dropped. Husband, she repeated in disbelief. I scratched my head awkward, confirming we were married. Zhang Miao looked like she'd been struck, her hopes crumbling. Bai Yo took my arm, leading me out with a smile, leaving Zhang Miao standing there stunned. Today Bai Yo was wearing black stockings, a stark contrast to Zhang Miao's white ones. She noticed Zhang Miao. Her lips curved into a slight smile. She nodded, greeting little strawberry. Even with her airheaded nature, Zhang Miao could sense the peculiar look in Bai Yo's eyes. It was an oddly knowing gaze. She didn't yet know we'd gotten married. I nodded back, greeting Senior Bai, but Bai Yo gave a playful smile, saying something Zhang Miao couldn't grasp. She remarked she didn't expect to meet her so soon. Zhang Miao was utterly confused, staring at Bai Yo puzzled. Bai Yo smiled lightly, saying it was nothing, thanking her for working late. After Zhang Miao left, I pushed open the door and stepped out. Just then, seeing Bai Yo dressed so strikingly today, I paused, caught off guard. It seemed at lunch she wasn't wearing this outfit. Bai Yo was pleased with my reaction, stepping forward to naturally link arms with me. She urged us to go home, calling me husband. My face flushed. I was indeed dazzled by her. Normally she had a gentle wifely charm, but this sudden sensuality, with her black stockings and long legs. Black stockings definitely won out. I asked when she'd changed clothes. She said after class she went home to change. She'd also made a late-night snack for me. She asked if this outfit looked good. Like a charming sprite, she twirled around me, captivating me completely. I admitted it looked good, but wondered why she suddenly changed. She looked great this morning too. Holding my arm, she gave me a cute smile. She wanted my friends to see her and acknowledge I was her husband. If she didn't dress well, they'd think she wasn't worthy of me. I gave a wry smile. Others would only think I wasn't worthy of her. She counted on her fingers, naming Lindin and Zhang Miao, saying they thought she didn't deserve me. Good grief, a battlefield was waiting for me. My scalp tingled with unease. I didn't know how to explain, but she suddenly pointed to the side, claiming there was a UFO. I turned to look. The next second, a soft, warm sensation brushed my cheek. I turned back, my face burning, feeling the spot she'd kissed still sizzling. I teased that a proper kiss might be even better. I thought saying this would make her shy, but instead, she fixed me with a dangerously playful look. I froze, instantly cowed. She was the real boss here. Bai Yo huffed, her voice still sweet and charming, but her tone sharp, accusing me of sweeteking, always taking advantage of her. I stammered an apology, seeing my flustered state. She couldn't help but giggle behind her hand, relieved to see her laugh. I let out a breath. She clung to my arm intimately, warning me not to flirt with other girls, only allowed to be that way with her. The next morning I woke early, believing fairness meant sharing chores. I made breakfast for her before heading to school. It was Friday, with only half a day of classes. I felt quite relaxed. Regarding the bookstore's customer flow, I'd made targeted improvements to the store's management system. She had no morning classes, so she wasn't eating at the cafeteria at noon. I went to the cafeteria with Yi-tae, sitting like a lord while he got our food. As I sat lost in thought, a girl in a school uniform approached, calling me Senior Zilin. I turned to see Zhang Miao. I asked why she was here. Didn't she have no morning classes? She shook her head saying no. There was a sudden club meeting. She asked why she didn't see Senior by today. I said she was at home. She asked if we'd fought. I shook my head, turning to see Yi-tae sneakily snapping a photo of me chatting with Zhang Miao. Yi-tae grinned smugly, asking what would happen if he showed this photo to Bai Yoayu. I felt no concern, even wanting to laugh. With her intelligence, she'd never buy such a pointless photo. Did he think the campus beauty was brainless? I told him to do as he pleased. Would she believe him or me? Just then a blonde girl approached, calling out to little Yi-tae, accusing him of avoiding her lately. It was Jongju here to confront him, his childhood friend. He shook his head like a rattle, flashing a fawning smile, standing to move behind her, denying it, saying had been busy, inviting her to sit. I chimed in saying had been busy indeed. Busy gaming. Yi-tae shot me a dark look, cursing me for setting him up. He quickly clarified it was just gaming. Gaming, did she know? He was her teacher. Jongju huffed, greeting me saying it had been a while, noting I was a big deal on the school forum. I knew she meant Bai Yoayu, awkwardly saying it was fine. She teased that the pressure must be high, with so many eyeing the campus beauty. Yi-tae snapped to attention, declaring he was Jiyoung's man in life, and her ghost in death, a full-course meal for her, never glancing at other girls. Yi-tae nearly swore, though Jongju knew had been called a flirt. Saying it to his face was too much. He couldn't hold it together. I was just too wicked. Zhang Miao's eyes flickered with envy. This Senior Jongju was impressive, taming Senior Yi-tae so well. Friday afternoons were free of classes. I usually headed to the bookstore, but after lunch, I felt a faint headache. So I told Zhang Miao and returned to the dorm. Unexpectedly, I slept straight until past 6 p.m., woken by Bai Yao's call. Upon waking, my head throbbed painfully. It felt like my mind was filled with new things. In those 6 hours of sleep, I'd had a long, vivid dream, filled with many events. I felt I dreamed of many people and other things. It was an incredibly complex dream, so complex it left me with a headache upon waking. She asked what was wrong, calling me husband. Her voice came through the phone laced with concern. I said it was nothing, maybe heat stroke. I'd slept and felt much better, though my ears still rang occasionally. I got up, walking around campus for 10 minutes to shake off the discomfort. Back at the rental, she rushed over, worried, asking if I was okay. My face was pale. My spirit was fine, just a bit tired. I said it was probably the heat, likely heat stroke. It was almost time for summer break. She gave me a searching look. Her intuition told her I wasn't being honest, but since I didn't want to talk, she wouldn't press. She just set out dinner. I looked at the fragrant, appetizing food, feeling like I'd lived this moment before, as if she'd been my wife for a long time. This deja vu made me uneasy. We ate dinner quietly. In my mind, stories of a blue planet's world, melodious songs, novel plots, even mysterious codes. I sat on my bed, my face calm, but my heart anything but. What were these things? As my wife, she noticed my unease immediately, but didn't disturb me, just quietly reviewed her studies. After hours of contemplation, I let out a long sigh. I felt this matter couldn't be shared with anyone. It was dangerous for me and others. Seeing me return to normal, she brought me a glass of water, asking if I was better. Guilt welled up in me. I apologized for worrying her. Yoayu. She shook her head, saying I worked hard at school and my job. She hadn't helped enough. She was the one who should apologize. I raised an eyebrow. Her words were so sweet. I teased her to come for a kiss. I froze, realizing what I'd said. That line came from the dream that afternoon. I hadn't meant to say it aloud. I started to explain, but noticed her face flushing visibly. She shyly whispered, "If she kissed me when I feel better." I insisted that wasn't what I meant, but her shy, adorable look was irresistible. She truly was a versatile enchantress, mastering every style. So, usually reserved, I took the lead for once. I pulled her into my arms, sitting her on my lap. Despite her familiarity with me, when I made a move, she was stunned. She asked if I was always this bold. Had she misjudged me before? She buried her face in my chest, pleading not to tease her Yoayu. I felt a thrill calling her Yoayu, gently kissing her forehead. I asked if when she had time, she could let me meet her family. Her expression faltered. She said she wasn't ready, Yoayu. Her voice was laced with guilt. She knew exactly what her family was like. Seeing her reluctance, I didn't push. We were still in college. There was no rush. We lay on the same bed, chatting about various things, until late at night. She fell asleep curled in my arms. The next 3 days were final exams. After exams, she didn't go home. She texted me, saying her family was picking her up after the tests. I put away my phone. Seeing her pitiful expression, my heart warmed. During summer break, the bookstore by the school gate stayed closed. Just then, a cute voice called out to me, "Senior Zilin." I turned to see Zhang Miao. I greeted her, asking how her exams went. She nodded cutely, saying they were okay. Not as good as mine, Senior Zilin, but shed pass. I said that was good, no failing. She said I must have done well too. Shed seen on the forum. I'd scored perfect marks in several core courses. I must have worked hard. I tilted my head, surprised, saying wasn't that expected. She looked exasperated, joking, calling 110 to arrest me for showing off. As she was about to say more, another voice came from behind, asking if I'd finished my exams. Zilin brother. Zhang Miao and I turned, seeing a pure youthful girl approach. I asked if Zidin had finished too. How did she do? Linden shifted her focus to Zhang Miao. Her air-headed trait surfaced again. Not noticing the edge in Lin Xin's tone, she greeted her saying hello, introducing herself as Zhang Miao, saying she could be called Strawberry. She was my junior. Her straightforward, cute tone caught Linden off guard. She instinctively replied, greeting her, introducing herself as Linden, freshman class 14, saying she was my sister. Zhang Miao gasped, covering her mouth. Did Senior Zilin have a sister? Since I had an interview coming up, I chatted briefly before waving goodbye, leaving them behind. After I walked away, Linden turned back to Zhang Miao, suddenly asking if little Strawberry was okay. Zhang Miao turned curious, looking at Linden. Linden said to just call her Linden, guessing she liked Senior Zilin too. Zhang Miao froze, then blushed, denying it, saying it wasn't true, telling her not to talk nonsense. Her relationship with me was normal. Linden thought to herself. She almost believed her. Or maybe she should hold up a mirror. Her face practically screamed, "Senior Zilin date me, am super sweet and free for the taking." Seeing little Strawberry like this, Linden felt a wave of exasperation. This ally's fighting spirit was pretty weak, probably like her. Her true feelings unknown to me. Zhang Miao shyly lowered her head, her girlish feelings exposed by someone she'd just met, making her incredibly shy. Linden sighed, patting her shoulder, proposing they form an alliance. Strawberry. Was she really okay, letting her Senior Zilin be taken by that campus beauty? Like a little devil, she kept shaking Zhang Miao's resolve, saying someone as pure and cute as her should consider that if Bai Yoayu fully claimed her Senior Zilin, she'd have no chance at all. Linden was different. She was my sister. No matter what, I was her brother. But what if Bai Yoayu drove away all the girls around me? Her half-teasing words genuinely spooked little Strawberry. Her little mind conjured a heartbreaking scene. She imagined me saying, "Strawberry, don't come to work anymore. The bookstore doesn't need you." She shook her head frantically. She'd never let that happen. Raising her head, she asked what she should do. Linden thought for a moment, admitting she hadn't planned yet. But summer break was an opportunity. by Yo Ayu. Wouldn't see me during the break. If she couldn't close the gap then, she'd have even less chance when school resumed. Jung Miao nodded, asking if she should stick by me all summer. Lyndon said there was no rush. Just follow her lead. As they plodded, a black car pulled into a vast luxurious estate. The door opened. Bai Yo in a white dress stepped out. The butler and maids bowed slightly, welcoming the young Miss home. Entering the living room, a man in his 60s sat on the sofa, quietly reading a newspaper. He noted her return, calling her Yo. He was the Bai family patriarch, Bai Ya's grandfather, the head of Bai Enterprises Bai Hai. While reading, he asked if she was dating at school. She wasn't surprised that her grandfather knew. The school forum was full of gossip about her. It'd be odd if her family didn't know. She didn't try to hide or deny it. It was pointless. She confirmed it was a classmate my age. Bai Hai didn't care much. Who the boy was didn't matter. He wouldn't allow someone outside their circle to end up with her. This summer I didn't work a job. Instead, I used my skills, taking website maintenance orders online. Just as I finished my last order of the summer, my sister Lyndon called, addressing me as brother, saying next Monday was my birthday. She wanted to celebrate with me. Warmth filled my heart. For someone without parents, what's a birthday? I told her to have fun, that was enough. Kids from the orphanage didn't have birthdays. I'd lived like this for years. I didn't care much about my birthday. I made a decent-looking dinner, calling it a birthday celebration. As I was about to dig in, a knock came at the door. I was puzzled. Who'd visit in this summer heat? Opening the door, I saw a small girl in a pink maid outfit, her face bright red, wishing me a happy birthday, Senior Zilin. I was curious. Few knew about this rental, not even Zhang Miao. Little Strawberry blushed, stammering an apology, saying Lyndon told her I'd ordered a service. I nearly choked on my own spit. Before I could say anything, she faltered, unable to continue, her face red as blood. I firmly denied ordering any such thing. She was my junior. Even if I did, I wouldn't call her. She looked up confused, saying Lyndon told her it was just a head massage or something. Why couldn't a junior do it? I clarified was that the kind of service she meant. I told her not to stand there, asking if she'd eaten. I just made a full dinner. In that moment, I felt utterly embarrassed, thinking I'd assumed Little Strawberry was here for something else. She entered the room, pulling out a white towel, looking at me expectantly. I froze, unsure what she meant. Was this part of the service? I awkwardly invited her to sit, trying to clear the misunderstanding. She sat still, blushing, explaining Lyndon had set this up. I sighed, shaking my head. Lyndon and her wild ideas. I offered her some food, trying to ease the awkwardness. She hesitated, then nodded. Sitting at the table, she looked at the spread, impressed. I scratched my head, embarrassed, saying it was just a simple birthday meal. She smiled, saying it looked amazing. We ate quietly, the tension slowly fading. She asked how I'd been. I said summer had been busy, but I'd managed. She nodded, saying she'd been working too, at the bookstore when it reopened. I smiled, thanking her for her help. She blushed again, saying it was nothing. She liked working with me. I felt a pang of guilt, knowing her feelings but unable to reciprocate. We finished eating. She helped clean up, insisting it was part of the service. I laughed, saying she didn't have to, but she insisted, her eyes bright with determination.